Today I'm going to keep working on the 4L80 build, but first a word from our sponsor. In the last video I worked on rollarizing the rear output, so I put a new seal and bushing in it. We also put a 3-piece roller bearing with a shim in there. Swapped out the output shaft because it's going to be a 4-wheel drive setup, and I put a new low roller sprag in it. Today what I'd like to work on is getting the drums and all the internal components completed, so I'm going to be working on the center support, both the drums, working on the dual feed and trans brake modifications, and also be putting the new seals on my billet input shaft that's going in here. I did end up going with a new center support. The old center support was all chipped up here. You can see all the divots from when the low roller sprag broke. So now we have a new center support and it's nice and smooth all the way around. No issues. Only real modification that I'm going to be doing here is taking this second ring off. And this modification is going to be for part of the dual feed. So we're going to dual feed the direct clutch. Okay, center support's ready to go in. So first thing we're going to do is put the snap ring in. This snap ring is what the center support is going to ride on. I'm going to go ahead and put this washer on. Then we'll take these 3 holes, line them up with the bottom of the case, and we can put the center support down. And if it doesn't come down all the way, I'm just going to take the output shaft here and then rotate it a little bit. And you'll see the center support fall down into position. 3 holes are lined up. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the beveled snap ring in. See, there's a flat edge here. Beveled edge goes up. There we go, make sure it clicks in all the way around. Next we can start working on putting the intermediate clutch pack in. So I'm going to take the factory wave plate and put the wave plate in. This just goes right on top of the center support. And then we can start putting the intermediate clutches in there. So I do have my forward, direct, and intermediate clutches all soaking in the pan. It's a brand new pan, so I just threw some fluid in it so I could soak them here. These are the new intermediate steels with the top pressure plate and the snap ring. So I'll take the new intermediate clutches and steels, alternate them every other. The first steel is going to go down towards the wave plate, and then the last clutch is going to be facing up, and then the pressure plate will go on the top. Now the pressure plate can go on. Pressure plate does have this long section here that doesn't have any notches in it. That's going to go over in the 9 o'clock position. And there's really only one way that it can go on there. So now that that's in, you can put your intermediate snap ring on. This is the factory snap ring, so I'm just going to put this one in for the sake of the video here. I do have a different intermediate snap ring on the way, and I would recommend upgrading this snap ring. I've broken the snap ring before, and you lose second gear then. So this factory snap ring is pretty thin. The HD2 kit, if it comes with a thicker one, you can get, it's like a Torque Flight 727 snap ring. And you can just order them individually, even if you Google or go on Amazon and type in 4L80 heavy duty snap ring. You'll find thicker versions. The one that I'm getting is actually a spiral lock, so it's a full 360. I'm going to try that one out. I've never used it before, but that's the one that I'm going to put in there. This is the same thing as installing the other snap rings. Make sure it goes down, engages all the way around, and your intermediates are done. All right, so I did go in here and measure the clearance with a feeler gauge, so it's at about 75 thousandths. It goes in there pretty snug. The manual says between 40 and 107 thousandths, so it's kind of right in the middle. Or you can go as low as 40 thousandths, which is basically 10 thou per clutch. So again, I'm putting a different snap ring in there, so I'll remeasure it when I do that. Next, we're moving on to the direct drum. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to drill the relief hole down in this section here. What I like to do is look on the back where you have this little machined line for balancing, and I'll pick one of those spots because it's a little bit thinner, and that's where I'm going to drill my hole through. I'm using a 60 thousandths drill bit, so it's really small. Be really careful, don't break the thing, don't snap it off inside the drum. Just go slow with it. Alright, so I got my hole all drilled now, and I did actually break my bit off inside the drum. I got lucky, I was able to get it out. As soon as it poked through the backside, it snagged and then just snapped the bit off, so I ended up going at it from the backside with the bit and pushed, and then it just popped it out. So didn't get it stuck, but now I have the hole there. Now we can work on the assembly of the drum. So this lip seal is taken out because it's part of the dual feed mod, so it basically is filling here and here. You take the seal out, it applies fluid on the entire piston, where the normal apply is divided by the lip seal. So when you take that out, it applies on the whole piston, so you get more clamping force. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some assembly lube and put it on the lip seal, and we'll put some inside the drum. There's actually still some fluid inside the drum, or some film from fluid, so it should be pretty decent. Put some on the inner lip seal also, and then we can drop the piston into the drum. So I'm just going to use a feeler gauge. And I'm just going to go around the lip seal and tuck the lip seal in. So we can drop the piston down. There we go. Now the piston just dropped right in. I went ahead and put the piston in the forward drum right away. There is no other modifications to this drum, so just put the piston in. Next I'm going to go ahead and put the springs on. So I'll take the spring assembly over to the press, put it on over the piston, press it down, and put the snap ring on. Oh, actually, I just got it by hand. Look at that. Cool. And I did go ahead and do the forward drum right away. Now we can start working on putting the clutches in both the drums. Alright, so pulling both sets of steels out of the pack, you can see we have 5 and 5. They're the same diameter, so they would fit in both drums. But the differences are the direct drum has all flat edges here. The forward drum has these little dovetail edges on them. The direct drum is also thicker. So these are about 0.9, 0.91, 0.915 is the book spec. And these are 0.775. So the forwards are thinner and have the dovetail. Directs are thicker and don't have the dovetail. I'm going to get the clutches out of the pan and we'll start to throw them together. Alright, so direct drum, and you can see this ring around the wave plate is what goes on the piston, so I'm going to put that in first. And then I'm going to do steel, clutch, steel, clutch, steel, clutch, steel, clutch, steel. Just keep repeating that till we get them all in there. Let's go. Alright, so you have a clutch on the top, and then pressure plate goes on, and then snap ring goes on. Also do the same thing with the forward right away. Take the wave plate, put the wave plate in. Alright, so we got the wave plate in. Get the wave plate in, let's start with steel. We'll go clutch and steel. Steel, clutch, steel. And then next we're going to put the forward hub in, but I'm going to be doing an upgraded forward hub. So let's get that out. Okay, so forward drum, it's ready for the forward hub now. This is the old hub. It's a little bit thinner than the new hub. So this has some more thickness around here so it doesn't break as easy. It also has a roller bearing on it. So when it's fully assembled sitting on top of the direct drum like this, it's a nice rollerized bearing. I did take the thrust washer off of the back of the old drum and got the bearing on there. I can just drop it down inside the forward drum. Make sure it drops all the way down, metal on metal. Put the pressure plate on. Go ahead and put the snap ring on. Alright, next on the menu is the input shaft. So it's a Summit Racing Billet 300M input shaft. So it should be good to 1200 horsepower. So what I got to do is pull the old one out, and then we got to add the Teflon rings to this guy. I just have the snap ring right here. And then the input shaft will pull out. I'm going to hold this together, otherwise this drum will fall apart. I can get the Teflon rings out of my kit. So there's 2 rings here, there's 2 rings here. These are like stretch fit, and they have to be compressed down to size. I don't have the tools for it, but we'll figure out a way to get it done. All right, so for starters here, I got 2 of them on just to kind of just to kind of show it here. So they do have to be stretched to get over it. But you see how they kind of hold their position? This one's like really baggy on it, but it had to be stretched to get over the rest of the shaft. So that's why they need to be fit and sized. So there's a sizing tool that's usually like a tapered tool that goes over the top and holds it in and compresses it down. So we'll have to make something there, but I'll show you kind of what I did. So I put this over my snap ring pliers and just kind of slowly stretched it out, and then just kept kind of working it over the shaft. And then I used a flathead and just kind of slowly, carefully stretched it, make it a little bit bigger. Now it's big enough, but then we'll have to resize it. So see, it looks like it's really big and baggy. If you squish it back round, it's just big enough to get over the shaft. So we'll do the same thing with this one, and then I'll size them. Alright, so we got all the rings on there now, and I just used some zip ties. Kind of worked them down, got them tight, just held it in position, made sure it didn't fall off, and then I just used this needle nose to kind of twist it to put some more pressure on it and get it real tight. So I'll leave it like that. I'll just probably let it sit for a little bit, and then I'll put it back together. Alright, I did let these sit now for probably about 20 minutes, so I'm going to cut these off, then I'll reassemble it. Put some assembly lube on these things. I'm going to stuff this thing all the way through. So I can get the snap ring back on. Alright. So now what I'll do, just to kind of help seat these things a little bit more, I'll flip the forward drum upside down, because these seals go right in here. So just kind of set it down in there, and the drum should help compress it a little bit more. Let that sit. Probably don't even need to do that, but I'll do it because I feel like it. Alright, so I think I'm actually going to do the same thing now, but I'm going to do it with the pump. So I'll slide these off. Yeah, and those are actually seated pretty good on there. So what I'll do is throw some assembly lube around it again, just like we did on the last one. That assembly lube is pretty thick on there, so that should help kind of guide everything down. The bushing goes around this section of the shaft right here, and then it kind of has a little taper into the bushing on the inside. So those sealing rings go on the inside of that little taper. So I'm just going to throw this thing down, and then we'll leave it sit for a little bit. There. So now that we know that this all fits together, we know that the seals are the right size and should be good. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Let them kind of find their happy place for a little bit, and we'll be good. So that's pretty much it for this one. We got all the drums done and ready to go back together. Put the center support in. We took the second sealing ring off. We drilled a hole for the dual feed on the direct drum. Put our billet, input shaft, and forward hub in, and got our sealing rings all tightened up. But I did notice when I stacked the pump on there, there's a bunch of junk inside the pump. So I wasn't really planning on going through a lot of the pump. But now after seeing that, I'm going to want to make sure I pull all the valves and do a really good cleaning on that thing. The transmission did have a broken sprag in it, and the direct drum clutches looked perfect, so I know that there wasn't really any fluid pressure issues going on. So I feel like I'd be good to probably just clean it out and put it all back together. If I change my mind, a refurbished pump is like $80 or $90, which is what I've done in the past. Usually if I'm sketched out at all about the pump, I just go with like a refurbished pump. So next video I'll continue going through some of the trans brake modifications. We'll start on the valve body stuff and really getting this thing kind of close to back together. So that intermediate snap ring is going to be here in like 2 days, so during that time I'll probably start working on taking the drive shafts out and looking at what I need to do for like a pinion yoke and stuff like that. I don't think I'm going to want to stay with the stock one. That'd be kind of a crappy way to wreck a drive shaft, is pinion yoke breaking. So that's it for this one. Stick around. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Do the things. Happy New Year.